The movie kicks off with Simon leading a seemingly content life alongside his girlfriend Fabian. Simon, an aspiring artist, is dating Fabian, who manages an art gallery. Their routine takes a turn when Simon nervously brings Fabian along to his father's 60th birthday celebration. At the family gathering, Simon encounters his father, Carl, engaged in prayer with his friends, while his mother, Agnes, also attends. During the event, Simon notices Sonia, Carl's mistress, among the guests. As conversations flow, some guests inquire about Simon's decision to abandon medical school. Carl, a renowned writer and psychologist, supports Simon's artistic pursuits, while Fabian proudly mentions Simon's nomination for an art award, pleasing Simon's parents. Later, Agnes approaches Simon, requesting his assistance in transcribing Carl's lectures into a book. Despite Simon's focus on his art, Agnes emphasizes the need for his help, hinting at potential consequences if Sonia becomes Carl's sole companion during their vacation. Torn between familial obligations and personal desires, Simon reluctantly agrees to assist Agnes, ultimately prioritizing his mother's well-being over his reluctance to work for his father. Concerned about the impact of additional work on Simon's art, Fabian expresses worry, but Simon reassures him, promising to manage. At the family home, Carl outlines plans to transform his lectures into a book. However, the conversation takes a turn when Carl confesses his love for Sonia, expressing remorse that she must stay behind to aid Simon with the book. Left alone, Simon delves into the transcription task, later attending an awards ceremony with Fabian. Despite expecting disappointment, Simon feels a pang of sadness when someone else claims the prize. Fabian consoles him, affirming the value of his work and predicting future recognition. The following day, while transcribing, tensions rise during a lunch break when Sonia blames Simon for hindering her vacation plans with Carl. Simon lashes out, denouncing Carl as a habitual womanizer and dismissing Sonia's attempts to reason with him. Back home, Simon struggles with artistic inspiration, opting to engage in conversation with his roommate and tend to his dog instead. The next morning, observing an argument between Carl and Sonia, Simon finds entertainment until his father intervenes, cautioning him against personal involvement with Sonia to protect his own relationship. Later that day, Carl's manager shares with Simon a startling revelation. Sonia was once one of Carl's patients. This unexpected information piques Simon's curiosity. The day unfolds with a young woman seeking Carl at his clinic, prompting Sonia to dismiss her abruptly, visibly perturbed by the encounter. After his shift, Simon heads to Sonia's office to transfer his work to a flash drive, only to find her in tears. Offering her comfort, Simon's gesture of kindness leads to an unexpected kiss from Sonia, leaving him stunned and hastening his departure from her office. Seeking solace, Simon meets Fabian that afternoon, but his mind remains preoccupied with thoughts of Sonia, even in his girlfriend's presence. The following day finds Simon struggling to focus in his office, consumed by memories of the kiss. Unable to shake off his turmoil, he confronts Sonia, seeking clarity about the significance of their momentary embrace. Sonia attributes the kiss to a spontaneous impulse, dismissing any deeper meaning. Displeased with Sonia's response, Simon becomes determined to delve into her past. As she heads to lunch with a Coliguli, Simon seizes the opportunity to snoop through Sonia's file. However, his investigation is interrupted by a knock at the door. Discovering a man holding roses sent by Carl for Sonia, Simon's jealousy flares, prompting him to discard the flowers in the garden. Seeking refuge, he joins Fabian for lunch, only to witness her attempting to recruit the artist who recently won an award, intensifying Simon's discomfort. Retreating to the office, Sonia queries Simon about the discarded roses, to which he feigns ignorance. Eavesdropping on her conversation with his father, Simon's fury peaks upon hearing Carl's dismissive remarks about him. Before leaving, Simon confronts Sonia, disparagingly reminding her of Carl's impartial evaluation of her, just like everyone else. Feeling overwhelmed, Simon rushes to Fabian's office but is disheartened to find her conversing with the new artist. Seeking solace, he grabs a drink in the kitchen, only to be confronted by his father about stirring up trouble at work. Simon expresses his desire to quit, but his mother insists he continue working on the book to salvage their marriage. Crushed by the mounting pressure, Simon clashes with Fabian, who defends hiring the new artist due to Simon's perceived inability to work. Frustrated, Simon boards a train back to the office, where he encounters Sonia attempting to access her file. Reluctantly, he hands it over, observing her distress upon reading Carl's comments. In a moment of vulnerability, Sonia seeks solace in Simon's arms, and they share another kiss before sneaking into Carl's house. Succumbing to passion, Simon and Sonia spend the night together in his parents' bedroom. After their intimate encounter, Simon tidies up before departing with Sonia, who offers him companionship and solace. Feeling a glimmer of contentment, Simon's joy is short-lived as his flatmate reveals Fabian's newfound closeness with the new artist, casting a shadow over his fragile sense of happiness. That evening, Simon attends a private party, where Fabian pours her heart out through a love song dedicated to him. Clearly enamored and having a blast, Fabian joins Simon, showering him with affectionate kisses. However, the mood shifts dramatically when Simon drops a bombshell. He confesses to sleeping with Sonia. Fabian's heart shatters as she struggles to process the betrayal, eventually walking out. Unable to salvage their relationship. Left alone, Simon finds solace in Sonia's invitation, rushing to her apartment where they reignite their passion and intimacy. As their relationship blossoms, Sonia's gestures of care, including preparing a meal, bring a sense of comfort to Simon. In a vulnerable moment, Simon recites a prayer symbolizing the complexity of his emotions. The next morning, he awakens to the startling realization that the apartment belongs to Carl, further complicating their intertwined relationships. In a surprising turn of events, Carl reveals to Simon that Sonia's desire for a child has been a source of contention in their relationship, as Simon cannot fulfill this wish. Their conversation is interrupted by Sonia's return, who brazenly kisses Simon in front of Carl, prompting a tense exchange between the two. As Simon prepares to leave, he realizes Sonia's ulterior motive. She used him to incite jealousy in Carl. Confronting her, Sonia confesses to manipulating the situation, further destabilizing Simon's mental state. Struggling with conflicting emotions, Simon experiences a disorienting sensation, compounded by a persistent ringing in his ears. Despite his discomfort, he manages to make it back to his apartment, where a wave of nausea overwhelms him. Amidst his distress, Simon receives a distressing call from Agnes, informing him of Carl's decision to move in with Sonia. Concerned for his mother's well-being, Simon rushes to her side, only to find her physically unharmed but emotionally distraught. Blaming him for the turmoil caused by Sonia, Agnes implores Simon to grow up and distance himself from their troubled situation. Simon is deeply wounded by Agnes's harsh words, feeling utterly abandoned and unloved. Desperate for reconciliation, he pleads with Fabian for forgiveness at her studio, only to be rejected as she perceives his current state of mind as unstable. Rejected once again, Simon returns to his apartment, consumed by despair and rage. In a fit of anguish, he destroys all of his artwork before succumbing to a sudden attack, losing consciousness. Waking up in the hospital, Simon is greeted by his father, Carl, who expresses relief at his son's recovery. Carl, emotional and remorseful, acknowledges his role in Agnes's struggles, but defends his own pursuit of happiness with Sonia. Months later, Simon decides to pursue a new path, enrolling in medical school. Attending his father's book release, Simon encounters Sonia, visibly pregnant with his child. Meanwhile, Agnes, still devoted to Carl, explains her decision to stay with him out of a desire to care for Simon's future child, recognizing Sonia's limitations. Back home for a celebratory gathering, Simon receives his son from Sonia, leading him to find forgiveness in his heart. The film concludes with the family posing for a group photo, as Simon contemplates his future. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.